नमस्कार, सलाम, कैसे हैं आप सब? मेरा नाम है रोहित और आप देख रहे हैं सार स्क्वायर स्टूडियोज़। आज के इस वर्ल्ड वाइड इन्फॉर्मेशन सेगमेंट में हम बात करेंगे एक ऐसे देश के बारे में जो कि अमेरिकन्स और कैनेडियंस के लिए थाईलैंड है। जी हाँ, ठीक सुना आपने, थाईलैंड है। एक ऐसा देश जो रिंग ऑफ फायर्स के बीच में होने की वजह से यहाँ पर सबसे ज़्यादा वॉल्केनोज़ हैं और काफ़ी मात्रा में अर्थक्वेक्स भी आती हैं। हम बात कर रहे हैं सेंट्रल अमेरिका और यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स के बीच में इस देश की जिसको हम बोलते हैं मेक्सिको या यूनाइटेड मेक्सिकन स्टेट। एक ऐसा देश जिसको 300 साल की गुलामी के बाद आज़ादी मिली स्पेन से। एक ऐसा देश जहां पर एक घंटे में तीन तीन राष्ट्रपति बने, एक घंटे के अंदर तीन राष्ट्रपति बने। बिगेस्ट प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ प्योर सिल्वर, दुनिया के 7 अजूबों में से भी एक अजूबा इस देश में है। Seventh largest salt producer in the world and the birthplace of all loving chocolates. एक ऐसा देश जिसका कैपिटल ज़मीन के अंदर धंसता चला जा रहा है। हर साल ये 1 से 3 फीट, तकरीबन 1 से 3 फीट ज़मीन के अंदर धंस जाता है, सिंक हो जाता है। पिछले 60 सालों में ये तकरीबन 25 से 30 फीट ज़मीन के अंदर धंस चुका है। मैं बात कर रहा हूँ मेक्सिको के कैपिटल की, मेक्सिको सिटी। एक ऐसा देश जहाँ पर है लॉन्गेस्ट लिविंग ट्री इन द वर्ल्ड। जी हाँ, तीन 300 साल की गुलामी स्पेन से, और उसके बाद ये देश आज़ाद हुआ और आज यहाँ पर दुनिया में सबसे ज़्यादा स्पेनिश बोलने वाले लोग रहते हैं। तो चलिए मिलाते हैं हम आपको आज के मेहमान से, आज के वर्ल्ड वाइड स्टूडियो के मेहमान से, जो कि मैक्सिकन हैं, और हम उनसे पूछेंगे उनकी कंट्री के बारे में।
I would like to welcome my colleague, who was my colleague and who is a very good friend of mine. His name is Raul. So Raul, welcome to SAR Square Studio. How are you doing today?
Namaste. Hi.
Namaste.
I'm really fine. Thank you.
So Raul, I would like you to introduce yourself to our viewers.
Sure. Hi everyone. My name is Raul Orozco. I'm from Mexico. From a city called Monterrey. Monterrey is one of the most known cities in Mexico. Actually, it's the third largest city in Mexico. And we are very close to the US border. Actually, we are around 200 to 300 kilometers away from the border. So it's pretty close. And we have, I'm married. I have 2 kids, 2 children, one boy he's 9 years old, and a little girl who's 6 years old. And I'm a systems engineer, okay, and I work as an operations manager for an IT company.
That's great, Raul. That's great. So to our viewers, I have worked with Raul for around like 1.5 or 2 years, right, Raul?
Yes,
and that's how we met. And so Raul, I'll just be asking few questions about Mexico. I was introducing my viewers to Mexico. So can us like
Okay.
we can start like what do you feel being a citizen of your country?
Well, actually, Mexico is a very good place. I like it here. Actually, when I'm abroad, traveling or something, I always feel homesick. So I can say that Mexico is a good country to live, and we have very fun facts about Mexico that I would like to tell you about, if you let me, of course.
Yeah, sure, sure. Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, for example, Mexico was conquered by Spain, back some 500, 600 years ago, and we have a lot of influence from Spain in our culture, right? And also, it's a mix of um, Spanish culture with the local culture that we had with the ancient civilizations, right? Actually, Mexico is pronounced Mexico in Spanish, okay, with
Mexico.
a
Yeah, yeah.
like Mexico, yes. So in Mexico is the home for very ancient civilizations, right? We had the most known civilizations are the Mayans and the Aztecs. I'm pretty sure you have heard about them.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, Mexico's home of them, and we have very interesting things about Mexico. Is that it's one of the most populated countries in the world. Actually, we have the largest and one of the largest cities in the world, which is Mexico City,
Mexico City, absolutely.
and yeah, which is our capital city. And fun fact about Mexico is that in 2010, the Mexican cuisine was recognized as an intangible heritage of the humanity, of the humankind. So by the UNESCO, by the UN, right? So that's a very interesting thing because we have very delicious food in Mexico.
So, Raul, what are the best places to visit if our viewers come and visit to Mexico? Like, what are the best places to visit? Of course, City is one of the best place to visit. I know that. Inside
Yeah.
Mexico City and outside Mexico City, in entire Mexico, what all things are there to visit?
Well, of course, if you come to Mexico, you should visit Monterrey. If
Mm-hmm.
you ever want to come, actually, this is an open invitation for you, Rit. If you ever
Sure,
want
sure.
to come to Mexico,
I will
I'll be more
definitely.
than I will be more than happy to have you here with me. I can
Definitely.
show you the city, and we have very special places in Mexico, and I can think of well, you already mentioned Mexico City, which is a very amazing place. Actually, you can see that there are a lot of mix of cultures there because people from different parts of the country go there uh, with their own food, with their own the way they dress and everything. So it's a mix of culture, very interesting mix of culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And another place that I would recommend is in the center part of Mexico, and the place is called San Miguel de Allende. It's a very special place. I've been there several times, and I like it a lot because it's like a city that you will see uh, how the cities were when the Spanish people were here in Mexico when there was like 500 years ago. So it's a very good place to visit, right? And the other place that I can think of, and it's extremely beautiful, is in the Caribbean Sea, which is Cancun,
Okay.
and they have marvelous beaches there. We have white sand, crystal clear water, and I think it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. Actually, if you ever come to Mexico, don't hesitate to visit.
Great, great, great. I'll definitely, I will try my best to visit because even I would like to come and explore things around Mexico. So, Raul,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Another fun fact about Mexico is that we speak Spanish. Okay, but Spanish is even Spanish is the most widespread language in Mexico. It's not the only language that we have. Actually, the Mexican government recognizes around 68 national languages.
all right.
Very few of them are spoken by very small communities of people. But the Mexican government is making great efforts in order for them to keep those languages alive, because it's part of our heritage and it's part of who we were before, right? And one of the most known languages besides Spanish is Nahuatl.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
Nahuatl is one of the languages, and uh, but we not only have those languages. There are also many people who speak English.
Mhm.
You will see that especially in Monterrey, where I live, is more common because Monterrey is an industrial city. We have industries from companies all over the world. Okay, we have we have companies from US, from Japan, from Korea, from India, actually, and so there are many people who speak English. And another thing that probably many people don't know is that in some parts of Mexico, especially in the north, I live in the northeast part of Mexico, but in the north, like west part of Mexico, uh, there are some people who speak German. There are small communities who speak it's like a dialect from German, and also in the central part of Mexico as well, they speak some German. So that's something that many people don't know about Mexico, that we still have.
Right.
We do have those communities as well, right? So, but yes, Spanish is the main language, because as I mentioned before, we were conquered by
Spain.
Spain,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
back
yeah.
around 500 600 years ago.
So current pandemic times, like this Corona time. So what are the measures or what are the effects of Corona or the COVID-19 pandemic in Mexico, and how did the government has handled that?
Well, we have had very tough times, and actually, we still have some issues with Corona, actually. And for example, we have had so far around 700,000 cases since February, when the pandemic started in Mexico, and unfortunately, around 70,000 people have died because of it. So it's not a very good thing to mention, right? But unfortunately, it is what it is. Still, the government is trying to control the pandemic. It seems like right now we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Many things have reopened in Mexico. In my city, in Monterrey, the things were not that bad because the government took they took on time precautions about the viruses. Before even started, we initiated a lockdown in mid-March, and it lasted until August. And in August, the government started to reopen several places like movie theaters, shopping malls, and everything like that. Still, there are some restrictions. For example, children, below, I think, 15 years, they cannot go to the movie theaters
Right.
or shopping malls.
Mhm.
People above 65, they are not allowed either. There are many places, many parks, many recreation sites that are still closed, but it's coming. It will open.
Gradually.
We have like small steps. We have taken small steps to reopen, and I think that has been the key. That in my city, the cases are not that big, right? Still, people is using face mask, keeping the social distance about around 1.5 or 2 meters. So I think people has been taking care of themselves.
All right, and as the other cities and the citizen of different countries are blaming government, right? So is it the same in Mexico, where people are blaming government because of which the coronavirus has spread more or something like that?
Yeah, it's the same. I think you can find that everywhere, right?
Yeah.
People is complaining about the government, and I think the federal government, the government of Mexico, they have been doing good things, but also I think there are some bad things they've done. Probably they didn't act as fast as they should have, right? In the case of my locally speaking in Monterrey, they did that before even the government from Mexico put some restrictions. The local government here put those restrictions, so that was the key to avoid spikes on cases, right? But the government, yeah, people still blaming the government about how they have handled the pandemic.
Right. So, okay, apart from these things, Ron, what are unique things in Mexico, like, which are not there in different countries around the world? What are unique things about Mexico?
That's a very good question. I think we are very similar to other countries. We have pretty much the same laws. Yeah, we don't have a very crazy laws. Like, for example, I've heard that in some places you are not allowed to chew gum in the street.
Yes, yes, that's Singapore.
Something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Singapore, or that sometimes. So kind of like such rules, they are not in Mexico. We are very, it's very like any other places, you have a lot of freedom. There are some, the only things that I can think of is that, and I think it's the same in for other countries, is that the government is putting taxes on everything, right?
Yeah.
On if you own a car, if you buy a car, you have big amount of taxes you need to pay. If you're buying a car, a house, even if you are receiving money from a relative, you still have to pay taxes, and such kind of things that are. I think those are the most common. Like the government wants to take money from below your mattress or something like
well, entire world government is taking money from everybody, maybe, irrespective to the country or respect to some city or some culture or whatever.
Right.
So Raul, two things which you love about your country the most.
The food.
Food, okay.
I think the food is very good, and I miss it every time that I travel. Food is, I would say, food is one of the things, and people. I think that the people in Mexico is very warm. If you ever come, they will help you for sure if you're in trouble. People is united when it comes to when we have had natural disasters, or we had a big earthquake in the Mexico City 3 years ago, which killed a lot of people, and the entire people of Mexico, they united in order for them to help. There were some people who traveled there to help them. Even people who couldn't travel, they sent money or they bought some goods for the people there. So I think that's a good thing from Mexico, from Mexican people.
And now two things which you don't like about your country.
Corruption. Mexico is well known as being one of the most corrupt places in the world, because government, as I was saying, right, government wants to take money from everywhere, even if it's legally or illegally, they want to take it. So I think corruption is one of the biggest disease of Mexico, right? And the other thing is the drug cartels. Mexico is also known as
famous.
Yeah, famous for drug cartels. Even though, let me tell you something, and this is something that probably many people don't know. You'll see in the news that Mexico is a war zone and Mexico looks like Iraq or something like that. But it is far from the truth, right? We have the issues. We have had very tough times in the past. Things are way much better than it was like 10 years ago when everything started. But the main reason why Mexico is so famous because of drug cartels is because we have a very, very large border with the U.S. Right? We have more than 3,000 kilometers of border with the U.S. And you know that United States is the biggest consumer of drugs in the world.
That's correct.
That's the big market, right? So Mexico is like in the south border, and we have a lot of drug coming from South America and even from Mexico itself, right? So drug cartels are one of the big issues, but we're still managing it. I think people still living with that, but I think that's the worst thing about Mexico is that, right? But you still can come and visit, and there are very, very safe places in Mexico to visit. So I think you should come either way.
Great. Raul, I know that you have visited India, right? So how did you find India, the places, the culture, the people, and everything?
You know what? It was very interesting for me visiting India, because when I was a kid, we used to have a lot of stories about India, right? Like, for example, the famous Jungle Book movie from Disney, right? Or there were other references to India in Mexico when I was a child. So for me, when I went there, I was very excited to visit it. It was a tremendous experience. I didn't know much things about India. I mean, I did know some things about India, but once you're there, it's a completely different world, right? You learn a lot of things. and I really like the culture. You have you're an ancient. I mean, India is a very ancient civilizations. You have a lot of archaeological places, just as well as Mexico, right? So I think in that part, Mexico is very similar to India. We have these similarities, right? And I've heard from people who have come to Mexico, and they say that Mexico looks like a lot like Indian cities.
Yes.
So and I've been there. I can tell you the same, right? I really like it. I visited Bangalore, Mysore, and Pune.
Uh-huh.
I was in those three cities. I really like them. Actually, I visited in Mysore. I visited the Mysore Palace, which is an amazing place. I was like shocked when I saw it. It was really amazing, very big place. Unfortunately, I didn't have much time to visit the other cities as I traveled because of work. And when you travel because of work, there is very few time to visit the touristic places of any city, right? But I would definitely love to go again to visit India and probably stay there for more time, for a week or 2 weeks, right? And actually my wife, she's very excited. She said that next time I go to India, she'll go with me.
That will be great.
Yeah. And I went to visit places like the Taj Mahal and other things. I think the Indian food also is very good. I work with Indians very often, and even when I travel because of work and I'm hanging out with Indians, they take me out to for dinner or for lunch, and we go to Indian places, and the Indian food is very delicious as well.
That's great, man. That's great. Yes, of course, Indian cuisine is one of the best cuisine in the world if you eat.
Yeah.
Ron, few things which you don't like, you are, negative about India.
I would say traffic. Yeah, traffic. I think it was crazy when I was there.
And
Actually,
Bangalore, of course. I mean, Bangalore is like hell in these days when you have traveled. I mean, last
Yeah.
2-3 years, it was terrible.
Yeah. And actually, when I experienced it the most, when I was coming back from India, and I took a cab from Pune to Mumbai because my plane was departing from the Mumbai airport, and it took us like 4 hours and a half to reach the airport. Since we left since the cab picked me up at the hotel or the place where I was staying, until I reached the airport, it was 4 hours and a half, and it was lots of traffic in Pune, in Mumbai, and everything. So I think the only thing that I would say is traffic about that I don't like about India.
That's great. I understand completely, Raul, because these days traffic, they are building new things. I mean, they're building new roads, they're building new metro railway tracks are there. So this is one of the reason why this traffic things is going, worse by worse, day by day from last couple of years. But I think in next 2-3 years, these things will get sorted out. So the next
Yeah.
time you visit, it will be a bit different.
Yeah, I hope so. And
Yeah.
and you know what? It's another thing about India that it's not that I don't like, but it was kind of different for me because Mexico is we have around 130 million people,
Mhm.
which is not that big, right? But I know that India has 1 billion people, right?
That's correct.
So for me, more than 1 billion people. So for me, it was like shocking seeing a lot of people the streets at any time, So that was another thing. It's not negative. I don't say it's something that I'm complaining about, but it was something different. We're not that used to see that many people in the streets in Mexico, and in India was like, wow, this is amazing.
Right, great. Thank you, Raul. Thanks a lot. I mean, sharing your thoughts about Mexico and India. So, Raul, thank you very much for joining my show. And any messages for our viewers?
Yeah, no, well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me.
You're welcome.
I'm honored. I feel honored to be in your channel
Thank you.
and as part of this. And the message that I have is, once this is over, once the pandemic is at least not over, but at least under control, do not hesitate to visit Mexico. And if you ever want to contact me, I will be very happy to guide you through, to let you know which places are good to visit. Or if you come to Monterey, we'll be glad to have you here with me and show you the place. Right? I think Mexico is a very good place. I think we have beautiful places around the world. I have never seen a place where you say, okay, this place does not have any beautiful places to visit. I think everywhere in our entire Earth is a very beautiful place.
Absolutely.
So we can find lots of things, right? So
Indeed.
that's the only message that I have. And please, be safe, take care of your family, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raul. Thanks a lot, and I hope to see you back on my channel soon.
Sure,
Right?
I will be glad.
Thanks
Will
for
be glad to
joining.
be in. Thank
Thanks for
you.
joining.
Thank you. Bye.
तो इंडिया हो या मेक्सिको या फिर कोई दूसरा देश, हर जगह कोरोना पैंडमिक ने ये सेम हाल करके रखा हुआ है। सारी गवर्नमेंट्स एक जैसी कोशिशें करती हैं, फिर भी जनता खुश नहीं है। पीपल आर ऑलवेज क्रिबिंग अराउंड, एंड आई थिंक पीपल आर ऑल्सो करेक्ट ऑन इन सम ऑफ द वेज। वेल गाइज, दिस वॉज ऑल अबाउट मेक्सिको। डू कमेंट ऑन द वीडियो, कीप लाइकिंग एंड शेयरिंग द वीडियो विथ योर फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिलीज। हम मिलेंगे आपसे अगले वीडियो में, एक दूसरे देश के बारे में बात करेंगे। धन्यवाद, सी यू, थैंक यू, नमस्कार।